everyone, and welcome to my tutorial on how to beat Journey of the Prairie King. Now, if you've played Stardew Valley, you know this game is insufferable. It is terrible. It is seemingly impossible to beat. However, once you get used to it, get used to the levels, you will find that it does get easier, and I hope this tutorial shows you how you can take advantage of certain levels, how some of the AI of different characters works, and I hope this makes this game a little less impossible for you. As you play, make sure that you don't get upset at the game. This piece of advice may seem really stupid for this tutorial, but I think it is one of the most crucial pieces of advice when you're trying to beat the game. You'll find it really frustrating at points, as I did in the past. However, you can't let that get to you, and if it does, just step away. The game will still be there. However, your rage will definitely impact your playing, so just take it easy, relax, and enjoy the process. It's kind of like learning a new skill. It'll take time, it'll take effort, it'll take repetition. And when you do beat it, it feels amazing. Only 1% of players have beaten it, and so that puts you in the top 1% of people who've played that game. And in my opinion, anyone can do it. If I can do it, anyone can. And with that, let's dive into the actual things you need to know in order to beat the game. The first thing you're going to do is check your luck. Your luck is going to determine basically how the whole game goes. You're going to go to your TV and you're going to watch the fortune teller. The fortune teller has, I believe, 5 different options of what your luck will be that day. There's very bad luck, neutral, good luck, and really good luck. You want to get it on the good or really good. The first time I beat the game, it was just a good. It wasn't like the best. So it kind of goes to show you that you can beat it at any level as long as it's on the good side of things. So basically you want to have it like a star, or you want to have it as sort of a golden pyramid. And those are the days you want to play because you'll get more items, and you'll see more of that in just a few. Okay, so this is Area 1, Stage 1, or I forget what the specific terms for it are, but basically you're in the first level, and what I do to get through this level is I just go to the top left corner and I shoot from there. It's nice because you don't really have too many sides to worry about. However, that's sort of a beginner's tip. As you get more used to it, you can hang out in the middle because it's easier to grab items there. And as you can see, the items spawn really fast, and it's because we had a good luck day. Make sure to collect coins, make sure to collect certain items. There are some items I really don't prefer, like the little nuke over there. That's good to have on hand, however, it's not the best to use all the time because then it clears all the enemies off of the level. However, first off, it doesn't end the level, they start coming back immediately afterwards, and you don't get any items from it, so in my opinion, it's kind of a lose-lose. However, if you're desperate, it is really good to have, which is why I grabbed it. As you're playing, the most important things to focus on are the coins and the 1-ups. The coins, of course, you need because you're going to get upgrades to your boots, your gun, and your bullets. Those are all going to help you long-term in the game. And the 1-ups are, of course, important because you're going to need them by the last levels. I believe sometimes I've had as many as 10 lives, and I've still lost the game. So it's absolutely important that you get those. Okay, so now you've beaten the first level, and you're going to move on to the next one. And if you're a beginner, it's the same song and dance. Go to the top left corner and just hang out there. And in fact, it's easier because the monsters are only going to be in that area, so it's a lot easier to grab the items. They're not going to be across the little stage area. However, for this instance, I just hung out in the middle because I've been playing it for a while, and I'm a bit more used to having to deal with lots of things coming from lots of different sides. And ultimately, that is the end goal for your skills in this game, because there are going to be some levels where hanging out in the corners aren't going to help you. However, it's a good way to start if you're just a beginner, and even in the beginning levels, if you just head over there every now and then, it's a good way to clear out enemies, like you see the kind of swarm over there. Sometimes it's good to just get into a corner because there's only 3 ways they can come, so it'll just make it easier. And still make sure to grab those coins, make sure to grab any upgrades if you can. And overall, just stay focused and try to finish the level. Okay, so once you finish this level, you're gonna get the sort of sales lady who comes and brings you item upgrades. And basically for this game, you have 6 chances to buy something and 9 upgrades overall. So there's sort of a system in which ones you should get. The best ones to get are 1 shoe upgrade, 2 gun upgrades, and 3 bullet upgrades, because the bullet upgrades are going to be the most important, gun second important, and the shoes you really only need 1 of. So, however, that usually doesn't work out. Usually I don't have money for the 3rd one. In fact, I don't think I've ever beaten the game with money for the 3rd one as well. However, if you're in a position to get all 3 of them, please do. It will make the game so much easier. And as you can see, I only had money to get the gun upgrade, but hopefully I will save up my coins and be able to get the bullet upgrade next. Now, in my opinion, this level is probably the hardest one in the first area, because you just have the factor of there being like 3 corners in 1 corner, if that makes sense. So if you see here, if you do my technique and go to the top corner, you have to deal with enemies from more sides than you would on any of the other levels. So that's another reason why I recommend getting used to being in the middle. However, I do tend to be a bit of a wallflower in this one, but ultimately it's about just getting through the levels. So upcoming here is an example of when it's good to use the nuke. As you can see, I have that in my inventory, and as I am getting rid of these enemies, I see they're dropping certain items I might want, like coins, and as you're going to see in a couple seconds, there's another thing, like, I forget what that's called, but basically I use that nuke, and then I'm able to grab those items a lot easier because I do need the coins to get the next upgrade. Moving right along onto the next level, this level is so much easier than the last one, and I always thought that. So basically, using my beginner method, just go into that corner again and just start shooting and wait for the enemies to come to you. I mean, it's going to make it a lot easier, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable, and yeah. But of course, if you do feel more comfortable, you can always move around, and going into that little box, it is a good place to get items. Just do what you want, honestly. Just my biggest piece of advice, besides the whole don't be stressed thing, is to do what works for you. As you keep on playing, you'll find some of my advice might work for you, some of it might not. So just keep on playing, figure out what works for you, and eventually you will get it, and these levels will become so easy. Alright, so you finish this level and you get to see the store lady person again. And luckily I can afford the bullet upgrade, so I'm gonna get that. And then you get into this thing called the boss level. And basically, it seems hard at first, but the AI of this character is so simple. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna stand in the same position I'm at, then move to the side when he starts shooting in your direction, and move back. Then you're gonna go to the opposite side of him and start shooting from a side. Because that's the easiest way to get him without getting hurt. There might be faster ways, but honestly, this way you really won't lose lives from these levels, and that's what I always liked about the levels. It's so easy to beat them without wasting lives like the other ones. Now you've defeated the enemy and you're gonna go get the 1-up, which I always found really, really disturbing. Like, why do you get a 1-up after you've killed another person? Anyway, let's not question the game. Moving on to the next area! So, sorry, I adjusted my volume while I was playing. This area is a lot more difficult. You can't be as much of a corner dweller because, as you can see, those butterflies can fly through sort of the borders of the level. So, if you stand in the corner, you're more likely to have one of them fly into you without you knowing it. Now, it is super important that you get the bullet upgrade by the time you reach this level because, as you can see, those little oh my gosh, mushroom people move really fast, and if you don't have that upgrade, it actually takes 2 shots to get them out. So make sure you have that, and just make sure you're super alert with these levels. Alright, once you've beaten that level, you get to encounter this person again, and this time I can only really afford the boots upgrade, so I'm gonna get that. And that increases your speed, so that'll be helpful a lot in the last couple of levels. Now for this level, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hang out by this bush. I don't know why I chose that bush. I like it best. You might find a better spot, but that's what I do, so it might help to do that. And it's the same story. You can move around if you want, but it does get a little overwhelming, as you can see, with the butterflies and with the mushrooms, and there I went. So yeah, just hang tight. You'll obviously lose some lives. There actually is a challenge where you can finish it without dying, and I think 0.4% of people have completed that, so just focus on getting through the levels for the first time, and then focus on maybe doing that later. Alright, moving on to the next level. I gotta say, this level is probably my least favorite level. It's not the hardest, but for some reason I've never really enjoyed it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hang out between the top two bridges, and you're just gonna work from there, kind of sort of like the corner technique, but you have to watch from all four sides. I would say it's easier than hanging out in the middle. The hardest thing though is trying to get the lives, and as you can see, you can kind of weave around, but the most important thing to focus on is that you don't end up losing a life trying to get an item or a coin. Alright, once you finally get through this level, you're gonna encounter the salesperson again. We'll call her the salesperson. And luckily we can afford the bullet upgrade, which is gonna be super helpful when we move on to the next area. So let's go on to the boss of this area. This is the exact same as the last boss we had. It's super easy once you know it's his or her patterns. Just go to the side, shoot, move away, move back, and then, oh, I forgot to mention, if you reach a point where the little person starts mimicking your actions, like if you see here, the person kind of goes side to side as I go to side, the biggest piece of advice I can give is to just hang out behind your little stump. It's not worth trying to get a shot in here or there, because he's just going to be shooting in the same area you are, and that's not going to end well. So just wait for them to stop doing that. You'll see it when they kind of turn around and you get to see their little face, and they'll start going back to their old patterns again. Just wait for them to stand still and not be shooting, and then try to get them from that area. Once again, you'll defeat the boss, and you'll feel really guilty taking that one up because you feel like it has some sinister origins. I don't know, it'd make an excellent game theory. So the reason why I'm frozen here is I actually went to get a glass of water while this was happening, because in between levels when it's kind of frozen like this, if you don't touch the little skull, you can just leave the game, step away from your computer for a little. And that goes back to my beginning advice of just taking it easy. If you feel stress from the game, just step away for a little. It's exactly what I did, and in this playthrough I won, so might be good to think about. I don't know. So we're just going to grab this and move on to the next world, which is the final world and obviously the hardest. It has probably my least favorite enemy. I think they're called imps, but I always call them I don't know, little devils in my head. So anyway, these skeletons take 2 shots, and luckily if you have the second bullet upgrade, the little imps, the red things, they're only going to take 1 shot. My technique for this level is to hang out relatively in the top right corner, as you see in between the two sets of gravestones. Makes it mildly easier. You only really have two sides to worry about with the skeletons. You still have to worry about the imps. Make sure you grab those 5 coins, because you've probably seen this already, but of course they give you 5 little coins instead of 1, and it's a lot easier to get the upgrades, obviously, and they do increase as you get on later in the levels. So just hang tight through these levels. These are the things you get the 1-ups for. These levels are absolutely terrible. I've been on them for so long, and not to be a downer, but they will take some work. So once you've beaten this level, you're going to encounter the sales lady again, and let's see, I'm going to go with the gun upgrade this time, because I've already gotten the maximum I need for the shoe upgrade, and I can't afford the next bullet upgrade, so we're just going to hope I have the money for that next time. This level, oh my goodness, I don't even know what I do for this level. For this level and the next one, you just hang on. I don't know. Pray if you pray. Cry if you feel like crying. That's totally fine. I literally, at this level, there's no judgment. Try to get those little, nukes again, because that's really where they come in handy. At this point, it's more important to just not lose a life than to get their whatever items you'd be missing out on. So, however, even though there's one there, I'm still comfortable with the mummies in the room. They're not too overwhelming, so I'm just going to let that one go away. But as the game continues, it will get harder, and I will have to use that at some point. Oh, but I do have to say, do not save the little nuke for the last level, because I've never tried it myself, but I have heard from the wiki and whatnot that if you try to nuke the final boss, it'll glitch and you won't be able to do it and the game will just reset, and that would just be the absolute worst thing to happen. So do not make those mistakes. Alright, so once you finish this level, you're going to move on to the final one, which is the most difficult because it centers around a lot on the little imps flying at you. So as you can see, you kind of want to move around in sort of circular motion to avoid them. However, they will come from everywhere, and you just have to hang tight. You will have to do this a couple times just to get used to it, finding a movement that works for you. It's hard because you can't really hide in a corner, because actually both the mummies and the imps can come from anywhere this time. So this is where learning to fight in the middle is really the best. It will help you the most. Use any of the upgrades, such as the ones that cause them to freeze for a second, the one that turns you into sort of a zombie kind of thing, and of course the nuke, because those all freeze or stop or get rid of all the enemies in the room for a little, and that will help you so much to get through this level. But overall, practice is key to getting through it. Alright, and once you finally make it through this level, give yourself a pat on the back, and more importantly, see if you can afford the bullet upgrade. I couldn't, so I'm just gonna go for a better gun upgrade and hope for the best. And actually, since I'm recording the voiceover afterwards, I know that it will work out. This is the final boss. I think his name is Vector, so the hardest thing for this, you really just have to focus on the bullets this time. There's no technique to safely playing this level. Just try your hardest to get as many shots in as possible, focus on defeating the enemies he sends on you, but most importantly, avoid the bullets, and hope you have a lot of lives. Alright, and just a few more shots, and there we go! We beat it! This is like the most satisfying moment in the game, and I don't sound as excited because I'm recording this afterwards, but once you get this, I gotta say, I am a disappointment because in this special moment, I decided to adjust my volume. I really hate myself for that. But here's the little cutscene you get at the end. It's really cute. It's the Prairie King's wife, maybe the Prairie Queen, singing for his return. It's super adorable. And it's such an amazing little scene to watch as you finish up your game and you're just so happy that you finally beat it. the best part about beating the game is you get to play a harder version of it. So basically with this version, it's very similar to the old one, however the little imps are going to be in here starting with the first level. However, you do get all the upgrades you had, but again on the downside, I believe the item drops are less common. Even though you see a lot of coin drops, I think the 1-ups are less common, and some of the stuff like the nukes and whatnot are also less common. But it's fun to play, but there's a lot less pressure to do well, which is really nice, so it's kind of like a little victory round, I would consider it to be. Alright, that's how you beat Journey of the Prairie King. I apologize if any of my tips were somewhat confusing. I've never really done this style of video before, or any YouTube video really. But if you did find it helpful, let me know in the comments if you finally beat it, or just like or subscribe. I really don't think I'll be making any other videos though, so you don't have to do that. Alright, best of luck to you guys!